That was on your right.
There we are. Now we didn't have it going on. Got it up. Like that, but oh yeah.
Well, there we go. Anyway, good morning. I'm Mike, KQ5ASN. I'm glad everybody's here today. Normally we would go through and have everybody introduce themselves, but since we're running a little bit late, we're going to pass that today. Do we have any visitors today? So, anybody here that's new? Your name? Billy? Oh, you're Billy from Slaughterville. I hear you on the MacNet on the morning. Good to meet you, Billy. Yeah. It's good to have you. I'm glad you made it today. Anybody else? Any other visitors?
Brand new.
Brand new?
Yeah, Kerry Eagle, KJ5, KQP.
Excellent. I'm glad you're here.
I remember.
Glad you're here. Everybody that's on, I can't see anybody on Zoom. We're glad that they're on here as well. Rodney is out and about, so I'm filling in for him today. Anyway, we've got Lee Greenleaf. He's going to do our presentation today on Faraday cages and bags. And since we're running a little bit behind, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to him and let him get started. So anyway, thank you all again for being here. Sure.
Good morning. Everyone's doing halfway decent and not too wet.
Not hearing you through the
Not coming, not coming.
There.
Here. You turn up the gain a little bit.
Okay, go ahead, stop.
Okay. Testing 1, 2. Here, there. What I want to try to do today is give you a little brief history on EMPs, what we're talking about with an EMP, and then also how to safeguard a little bit behind it. Give me a second. Right there. Okay.
Want double chocolate chip muffin? You still want chocolate chip muffin?
Good presentation.
Everybody get that? Okay. There you go. Okay, thank you. EMP, electromagnetic pulse. What is it? How do we deal with it? A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about EMP. Also, how to deal with one. Anybody in here have a pacemaker? Okay, you got one over there. I don't know how long you might have had it. I'm not going to ask, but I'll say this: some of the older pacemakers are susceptible to EMPs. The new ones are shielded, so they're not going to have that problem. Okay, how's it happen? Well, somebody decides to explode a nuclear device above the earth, at least 20 miles, but it can go even much higher than that. And once it happens, the spread of radiation or the spread of the blast causes a whole series of events to happen. The great question is why? Well, a small country or a country that does a lot of saber rattling, if they can get their hands on an EMP or on a nuclear device they can launch, they can explode it high above the earth, high above the United States, and literally put us, into the 1800s. It can cause blackouts, the power grid will go down, running water will cease. Now, jetliners aren't going to fall out of the sky because they're made now to withstand an EMP. But a lot of private civil aviation, is not. And so, yeah, you'll have some planes that are literally not falling, but lose power and will have to do an emergency landing somehow. An EMP isn't designed to kill people, but it does. Like horseshoes and hand grenades, it depends on how close it is and what's really going to happen with it. If you're directly above quote ground zero, then you're probably going to have a massive dose of radiation. And still, the only best thing for radiation is iodine tablets. It's amazing how that hasn't changed over all these years, and we haven't come up with anything better. Your chances of survival go up exponentially. Not just a curve, but they truly go up exponentially the further away from the ground zero blast. This chart shows that if it goes up 300 miles, it's pretty much going to cover the whole continental United States. If it's a little bit shorter, then maybe it might leave out the east and west coast, get everything else. So, it really varies about where it's set off. Fear mongering, okay. This is put out by the Department of Homeland Security. They say an EMP will kill 90% of Americans. Again, it's not going to be because of radiation poisoning. It's going to be because of their reactions. It's going to be because of not being prepared. It's going to be because, they haven't experienced all of a sudden not living out, being able to live without the modern conveniences. They don't know how to hunt, they don't know how to, find water and make sure that it's good to drink. And for one generation, if they don't have something that hold like this, then they're flat out of it completely. So, when cell phones go dead, what will they do? Prevention, well, world peace probably isn't going to happen. So we need to take a look at what we can do to survive and keep going and make a difference. An EMP works by the transfer of energy either through an electrical field, a magnetic field, an electromagnetic radiation, or electrical conduction. Those are the 4 ways of delivery of any EMP. Like most things in life, education is what helps the best in combating this and being prepared for it. You need to help our neighbors. We need to get people interested in what they can do. A lot of people these days are, thinking about the future and something happening and becoming part of the prepper community. How far they want to go is up to them. But being prepared yourself and for your family is the #1 thing to do. You can look up on EMPs on DuckDuckGo or Bing or Google or whatever your favorite search engine is. But it's a pretty vast subject, and it's not the reason for the class today. It's to give you the idea of what it is and how it affects us. From there, the safeguarding of our equipment and how we can get back on the air after it happens and establish not only local but nationwide communications. I say that because Norman, in the last few years, has a $16.5 million radio package, best one they've ever had, and it's truly state of the art, but it's not EMP proof. And as good as it is, then all of a sudden, all their handhelds are going to be bricks. All the repeater sites are just going to be standing there because they haven't done anything to safeguard it in that respect. If you decide, okay, I'm going to have some stuff, and as soon as I hear one, I'm going to put it in the box, too late. An EMP travels at the speed of light. So unless you're really fast, not go well. Not gonna work. As hams, we prepare. We do a lot of preparation already for different things. Go bags, go boxes, all kinds of stuff. So it started with making decisions on your equipment. Where you have it's old but still works. Where you have it, you can think of it to put it in a can, put it in a bag, or some of the way that you're going to protect it. On the shelf here, you see all kinds of equipment. A lot of it is actually multiples of the same thing. But those types of large bags or large transceivers like that are difficult to put into a can. Maybe you get a 31-gallon can or a 55-gallon can, and that's a little hard to move around. So you can think about what you're going to build or what you're going to have, but also keep in mind how easy it's going to be for you to store it or get to it. Protection is the whole thing. What do we protect? Well, we can protect our radios, including SDRs, shortwave, even family service radios. And think about a test equipment, a multimeter. A computer, a laptop, chargers for everything that you're going to be using. Batteries, both rechargeable and just alkaline or something like that. A solar panel and a controller. Cell phones. Notice I add something about cell phones. With cell phones, we're not gonna be talking to anybody else on cell phone. Not really, because companies haven't, gone to any means to make them safe or anything else, so cell phones are gonna just be bricks. But if you've got apps on your cell phone that can do other things, like GPS, or give you maps of areas. There's a lot of different apps that can do other jobs for you that don't depend on contacting internet or contacting anything else. They're indwelling and will work for you on your phone. And anything else electronic that you depend upon. It may be that you need to, if you're diabetic, keep extra things, in there so that you can take your blood sugar, make sure it's okay.
That's David.
Anything, you have to pick what's going in there.
Yes.
Faraday cages look like a lot of different things there. I've got some up here, and actually what I'm gonna do is, I'll start over here, pass one of these around. This is just a little common bag. Faraday cloth.
Qualified for $1,500.
Picked up from Amazon. And, what I've got here. If you don't decide to become a seamstress and start making things,
Mother's maiden name.
then what you can do with it is, let's say you've got a go box with an antenna like a vertical, you can take this and spread it out and use it for your ground plane. Because it's just as easy to work with that. If you do decide to wrap up equipment in it, then you're also going to need something that has Faraday tape that goes with it. That's the same type of protection as that does. And you can wrap it up and seal it up with the tape. So those types of things are going to help a whole lot. Boxes that you build with screen. Here. There's so many different ways of looking at a Faraday cage. And I'll show you some others here as well. They come in a lot of different things. You notice a guy standing there with a Van de Graaff machine throwing sparks over at it. Well, you look at the cage around him and it's very, very large. It's not a fine mesh or anything else. And it's because Faraday, or because electromagnetic pulse also works in different frequency levels. A nuclear blast is going to do the whole spectrum, everything. Where a Van de Graaff machine is only going in one specific frequency range. And thus they found out that a large cage, that's wide open spaces in between it will work and, and keep the person inside of it safe. But other things you can do, you can get small, wire mesh. You can use aluminum for it. There it shows a bed until I decided to make a Faraday cage around their bed. At first when I saw that, I thought it was a big joke. But then, thinking about if a person is on some type of medical equipment or is susceptible because of possibly a pacemaker or something else, then this would at least allow them to sustain the hit and keep going. Also, a EMP isn't long lasting. It does its damage instantly and that's it. What countries would use them for is to bring somebody else to their knees and make it easier for them to launch another type of attack or a secondary attack where they don't have a lot of wherewithal to be able to do that type of thing. But the EMP is very short in life. So, that's how we protect from it and keep going from there. There's commercial units out there as well. I'm not advocating this company by any means, but they're one of the better known ones. And they make them for house, they make them for your car, they make them for a lot of different, instances where you might need something. Say you've got a whole house generator, then it can protect it. The whole thing about it is understanding how the pulse works and what you can do to safeguard it. If you can take it off the grid and, I think it's a billionth of a second is what they figure these have. Then they. I know this particular company also is very good, are very big in government contracts for the military. Believe me, our military has gone to tremendous lengths to protect from an EMP. Bases, equipment, everything. So, that's one of the things, if another country is looking at, trying to hit us, they're not going to really do the military any damage, which is a good thing. But, if you're thinking about, let's say you have a 1965 Chevelle, you're golden, because there's nothing in that car except maybe the radio that's in it that's going to be affected by an EMP. So you can just walk out, turn it on, and drive wherever you need to. But you get a newer vehicle that has an ECM, electronic computer module, and it is going to die. You put one of these on there and protect it. And that's about the only way that I know of. The big thing is, like I said, it happens so quickly at the speed of light, there's no way we can try to do anything to protect if we haven't already taken the step to protect. Okay, some keys must be of metal construction or a wire mesh, some type of metal cage, anything like that. Contents must be isolated. One of the things I'm showing is that, like inside here, I have put cardboard in the bottom. Then I put cardboard all around the side here and seal it off. But before that happens, they can't. And not the right size to do all the things. But let's face it, quality control on them isn't really that great. So when the rivets are on the side or the seams that are done, they may well leak. So it's a good idea to take and put some type of metal tape and seal everything around the can, seal around the bottom seal, and that way you'll have it protected as well. And then the next thing is the isolation. Using the cardboard on the bottom. Using the cardboard on the bottom and then around the top, on the lid, you can use something like this, cut it to size, hot glue it, and it will take care of giving you some protection against anything that's inside the can of touching the metal can. That's the main thing you want to make sure of, is that you've got it so it's all the contents are completely isolated from the can itself. An extra thing that you can always do is also to ground, the can or your container or whatever. That just gives that one next step of protection. You saw the bag, pretty flimsy, isn't it? It's really thin. That might be calming. Actually, I'm gonna let them ring so you can hear it ring. Okay. Wait, hang up. And I'll put it here. Okay, call it again. It's thin and flimsy and everything it is, it works. The weave in it is a Dacron copper nickel type of weave. So that's what's actually in it to protect. Now, if you looked at it real well, you saw that it folds over, it truly tries to seal up every possible means of egress into it. And that's what you have to do with anything. Let's say you decide to use a can like this, 50 caliber type can. Again, you have to put cardboard on the inside to protect it. Two other things you're going to need to do, and that is like take a Dremel tool or just a piece of sandpaper and sand the edge all around. On this one, sand under, take out the rubber gasket, which we all like because it keeps everything nice and dry and whatever, but you're not using it for that anymore. You're using it for a Faraday cage. So you take out that rubber gasket, it's all the way in there, and you make a gasket out of aluminum foil. And that way, when you put whatever together, you seal it. The aluminum foil is making a complete seal around it and causing it to do the same thing, making sure that it's protected. The computer that you put in there, it's a good thing to preload all the programs that you use. You've got Chirper, you've got, Yaesu or whoever else you might have that has a proprietary program. Well, make sure it's loaded on there. Yeah, it may be a couple of versions old by the time you have to use it, but you still can back it up and you can still use it again. Besides that, you can keep CD-ROMs in there. They don't take up any room. Anything that you need for a program. Also, your cables. Remember, most of the programming cables have an EEPROM, a chip in them. And that chip, if it's exposed to the Faraday or to the EMP, it's going to bring it out. So put your cables in the can as well. Protect them. I like to use something like, Mike's got one over here, a shortwave radio. Just get you a cheap shortwave radio because not only can you use it for AM, FM locally, but you also can find out other places that may also not be experiencing AMP and get news off of them. But that also is something you can use as a guinea pig. One of the theories is that a country will use a nuclear blast as an EMP, but then the people will get out stuff that they got protected and they'll follow it up with a second nuclear blast, to try to take out that stuff as well. So that's the reason you use something as a guinea pig. And you can keep that shortwave radio going. At least the rest of your stuff stays protected, and maybe you lose it, but that's all. So, think about what you're going to do. WinLink, digital, whatever you may be using. Handy talkies, you can put one of those in there. HF that you've got. And the other thing is the 12-volt battery. This is a LiPo type battery. And the bad thing about LiPo is that it has a circuit board in here, which is a battery maintenance. It helps it in the way it charges. It makes sure that it charges equally. But at the same time, if it's exposed to an EMP, it's going to be worthless to you because that battery management system is going to burn out. Now, conversely, the battery in your car, a lead-acid battery, it's not going to hurt it at all. They're going to be working just fine. But generator in your car may, because of diodes, may not be working in order to charge it. So it's a, it's a big game almost as what's gonna be working, what's not gonna be working. And I can't give you, and I don't think anybody can give you any hard and fast rules about everything. It's a case of trying to protect the best way that you can, knowing your own equipment, and then taking it from there. What am I going at with? Okay, I talked about LiPo batteries. If you keep batteries in there, make sure to rotate them from time to time. Even though, a regular alkaline battery does not have a battery management board in it, it's just easier to keep all your batteries together in one place. So put a reminder in your phone that every quarter you're going to rotate those batteries, take those out, use them, and then put fresh ones back in there. And that way you've always got fresh ones in there. If you use rechargeables, make sure you put a recharger inside of there. Now, okay, I'm talking about all these things that would use electricity, but what am I going to do? Well, I may not have electricity, but I can get something like this, which hooks up to 12 volts and gives me 110 volts. So I can start making, all the 110 I need to do charging. And the other way besides that is also to set it up so that when you're doing that type of charging, you need to recharge your battery. So get a solar cell, a solar panel. Solar panels are great. I've got one that folds up that I use. It's 100 watt. And from it, it makes sure that I can, keep anything that I've got at peak conditioning. And I use a charge controller with it. So again, that's something else that would go into the cage. But that charge controller makes sure that you don't overcharge things or put too much voltage into something, and make sure that your whole system, is functional and stays functional. The interweb, I think, is your best source. Look up your own items. Find out what you need to do, if there's anything special you need to do for them. Construction metal trash cans. As I said, a metal trash can, you want to make sure that you do everything you can to seal it. Make sure that where rivets are or seam seals that come around it, you go on the inside with a metal type tape, and that's going to make sure that everything is sealed up on it. Don't pick containers that are too large, like I said before. You all of a sudden you get a regular size trash can, and you start putting an HF transceiver into it, and battery, and all kinds of other stuff. And gee whiz, it's 300 pounds. So it's not manageable like that. It's better to have multiple small ones than it is to have one big one. Test, test, and test again. Make sure that whatever you're using will continue to work. Use it shortwave radio, use an AM FM radio, strong station. Put it inside there, put the lid on it, seal it up, and see if you can hear anything. See if it's blocking the signals from coming in. Those are the things that are going to, allow you to rest more easily, knowing that you've got your equipment protected. Cardboard or bubble wrap. And then also consider using heavy duty freezer bags to gather together all your small stuff, your programming cables or batteries or whatever it is. It just makes it easier than trying to dig around and find something if you've got them grouped together in like gallon freezer bags. and conductive tape. Like I said, aluminum foil makes a great, what is that? I'm sorry. Yeah, a little clear plastic case. I mean, you can use anything you want. But, try to bundle your items together so that you've got something that's gonna make it easier to identify and make it easier to look at. Yeah, there are a few finites. Equipment, cars, and many items mentioned may work or may not. I can't tell you what's going to absolutely work and what's going to absolutely not. I've done a lot of research over the years about this subject and how you can really do things to make it, more user friendly. But it depends the school of thought and who you talk to. Just like before, I can't fathom that 90% of the population is going to die after an EMP. But, like I said, that's what Homeland Security is projecting. And mostly it's because of, that people won't have ways to feed their family or to understand how to get fresh water or some of the other things that are necessary. And so a lot of it will be in the first 6 months through attrition. If you're a prepper, just remember EMPs won't harm non-electronic items. It's not going to harm the lima beans that you got in a can. It's not going to harm, all the flour you have or all the other staples that you might have. It's not going to do anything to that. The only thing it's going to take out is electronics. That's what it's designed to do. And again, the type of cage that you build or use depends on what you're trying to protect. I look at it personally, knowing that a nuclear explosion covers the whole spectrum. I try to go with the highest level of protection, like a sealed can, versus just a wire cage. I know a wire cage will work over a lot of it, but it won't work over absolutely all of it. So, it's things like that are going to be your hard line to try to decide for yourself what's good and what's bad. Again, isolate the items you want protected from the cage. I can't say that enough times. If you've got anything in contact with that metal, then you've got a good chance of losing it. And lastly, a lot of people will take, and along with aluminum foil, using it for a sealant all around, they'll also take a piece of wire and strip it way back, wrap it several times around that aluminum foil, close it up, and the other end will go to the ground source. And by having a ground source, they're just going that extra step to protect their items. Yeah. Questions? Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of up to. So like for the wire mesh, like how fine does it have to be?
I would say if you're going to use wire mesh, use something that's about the size of a screen on a window.
Okay. And that will
Make sure it's metal and not plastic like some screens.
Correct. Make sure it's metal and not plastic. A lot of the screens that you find now in the home window and stuff like that that go on the windows are actually vinyl. They're not metal. So make sure you get a galvanized metal. And the other thing, let's say you're building a wood frame and you're going to wrap it with screen, make sure that you come around and wrap it under the edges and the bottom over the top, so that when you close it, those edges are all touching. So you've got a complete seal all the way around it. Yes, sir.
I have a question. have a tornado shelter that lit out of steel. And it's bolted to, concrete garage floor. Would the floor need to be protected also?
Yeah, well, you've got a metal cage here, yes, but, concrete is gonna isolate that cage. So, yeah, you'll need to find a way, like one of the bolts, loosen it up, and put, wire, and take that to the big ground source. Yes, sir.
I've always wondered this, if the screen with holes in it or any other grid will protect something, why do we have to be so concerned with little gaps like an ammo can?
Any gap that you've got, is a source of entry. That's the reason, like in an ammo can, I use that one, aluminum foil to seal it, so everything is, is
Well,
isolated.
maybe
Because if
better
I have
now.
that,
Maybe a better analogy is just talking about on the can, but it's got a grid. So if a screen full of holes will still protect, why should we be so concerned about a rivet hole that can?
I hear what you're saying exactly. There again, a screen, I personally won't use a screen. I'm going to use a solid metal box. Because a screen is still going to let it open to certain frequencies of the EMP.
Okay.
Like I said, a true EMP covers the whole frequency span, top to bottom. Where other types of EMPs, like from coronal mass ejection, or from a Van de Graaff machine, or some other type of electrical spark is a source of an EMP. They're in a specific frequency band, and so that frequency band, possibly a screen, just like in a large metal cage that I had earlier with the Van de Graaff machine, works just fine because of the frequency it's operating at. So, that's, for me, a solid metal box is the only way I'm going to go.
Well, I always err on the side of caution, but I was always curious if they're promoting this. We have to be so thorough with it.
Yeah, there again, I've looked at, I can't tell you how many websites and done so much research on it. And none of them will give you an exact finite answer to, you can do this and always be protected. Just doesn't happen. Yes, sir.
I can kind of speak to that point if you'd like, or if you.
Absolutely.
The whole point is if you have a large intensity of that broad spectrum energy, you're trying to shed that as fast as possible. So if you have rivets, sometimes you create like a little eddy and create some heat where it can't shed quick enough. So you try and so that's where all those intrusions are with the super high frequencies and microwaves. They can enter those orifices and then they can get inside. And so the whole point is to shed the energy as quick as possible. So if you have a non-smooth surface, it can kind of hang up there for a sec, create some heat, and then you can't shed it as quick.
That makes sense.
That's part of what that's all about.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've heard that old dead microwave ovens might be a good period. What's your research told you about that?
Well, if you look at it, most of them do not leak, because they produce electromagnetic force. And so they have come up with a way to seal it. And yeah, it's there again, remember, microwave is a one frequency band. So it's not going to possibly cover everything.
I was gonna say, an author, William Forster, wrote a series of books. The first one's called 1 Second After. You get a pretty grim depiction of what would happen if we were hit with EMP.
He's also referred to as Dr. EMP because he's done so much research on it, and very, very, I appreciate you saying that because it's a very good source of information, and also kind of preparing people mentally for 1 second after, because like I said, it's there, it's gone, and that the damage is left behind.
One thing you might also consider, if you're making a go box, take with you out to the field, whatnot, combine it. Make a go box, a Faraday go box. Something that you can carry, it's all right there together with.
I considered taking this and lining my go box with it just to see how well it may work.
So if there is a device that you can insert into your power source that you showed, is there some similar type of device that you can connect between your antenna and your radio? Equivalent of a polyphaser or?
Not that I know of. No, that's, people have said, okay, well, a car is a Faraday cage. Yeah, no. It may be for certain frequencies or whatever, but you've got too many other sources of entry. The big thing is, you know, whether it comes in the antenna or just through a window or cracking a weather seal or however else. You know, it's going to enter and it's going to be done.
Okay. Throw that same bunch, make it.
Anyone else? In that case, thank you.
All right, let's take 5 minutes. So I'd say, well, I'll tell you what, be back here by 10:30 if you're going to take a break. We'll do 5 to 10 minutes.
And you're welcome to come up with the stuff if you like to.
Yes. Probably not. Because they'll do it back. Well, that's what we have to. Well, I think Thanks for being here. Oh, heaven. Now, that's what I'll it was funky this year. But I don't have any way to find people who signed up. So unless it's somebody I happen to know. I wanted to get signed up. Not sure. Make sure you, if you're going to use an HT, make sure you have a usability superintendent on We are indeed.
So it's changed on your antenna. It's just me. Which I think it is just noisy. Because you're up and running. I just can't get you like that. It could be green ring, you know, I'm trying to dive in. Everything's noisy. It's just a solar max got problems sometimes. But at least I can come to a show. Halfway. Take out. Those lightning things, right? It took a ride.
I said, this one won't work because it's got a gap in
Well, don't get the little blue deal that say on.
All right, let's go ahead and get back to our seats. Go ahead and get started. So a couple of people were asking Lee, where he got his equipment, like his Faraday cloth. I've got a couple of Faraday bags I got up here. I got these and Lee too, got those from Amazon. This big bag, I've got a little HM radio, I've got a little handy talk, I've got a little watch, and a little, just a receiver in there. And this bag, this big bag was like $17. The only thing I would suggest, if you order something from Amazon, once you get it, make sure you test it. You know, put like an AM or FM radio, make sure you lose signal, put your telephone in there, call it, make sure that it doesn't go through. This bag here is from FaradayDefense.com, one of Mark's holding there. So anyway, test them. That's probably the big thing. All right, Chris, are you online for the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes, can you hear me?
Let's see, Mark's trying to get you hooked up, Chris.
Can you hear me now?
Chris, yeah, give it a shot, see if we can hear you.
1, 2, 3, testing. 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 Hmm.
At 8 p.m., we have the Aries net, a number of us does that. So that is on our normal club repeater 147.060. So Denny, you
Cover the MacNet and GossipNet.
Out of breath.
Yeah, the MacNet are in the morning, 9 o'clock, Monday through Saturday. Come join us in the mornings. Glad to have a chat with you. And in the evening on Tuesday, after the is the gossip net. You get in there and just talk about anything you like, almost. Anyhow, come join us. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. And for what it says here, I've never been on the 6 meter net. It's on Mondays at 8 PM on 50.200. So if y'all have 6 meter capabilities, that's available as well. Upper sideband. I don't see Wayne. Let's see, siren nets are on Saturday on UHF 443.700 at noon. And if y'all want to be a part of that, we could always use more volunteers for that. Yes, Galen. Okay. All right. So far Moore is not testing and Norman is not testing. And Ed, there you go.
What would you like to know?
B report.
Oh, the B report. Mark, flip a page. Tech report, everything is up and working fine. It is a little noisy right now. The sun is our friend, and the sun can be a pain in the butt. And testing of the night, we do have, we had 5 applicants, 4 went home happy, some very happy. We did mention names, did we? Some richer, but. And he's going for the page. We've caught him all crossed up. But as of the people, we have a couple of them here today. Carrie is a new technician. And has already signed up for the general, so you can't get that. He's on a roll. Gail is our new general, who has her own 4-footed fan club. And then Margaret got new technician. She's here. And Bradley was an upgrade to extra. Is he here? I didn't see him. Okay, and our next testing night, May 2nd, Thursday night, we've already got people signed up. So if you're wanting to test, we will be here and be ready for you.
Thank you very much. All right, Larry, we'll go ahead and move over to you.
Okay. Profit loss, we've had several members join. Everything ended up with 515.26 to the positive. And that brings us to 2034 in the saving or checking account, 24,079 in savings and 159 in petty cash. Anyone have any questions?
All right. And we'll move over to Mr. Mark Clayton on a field day report.
Okay, now that's better. Field days coming up in June. And this is our summer field day. We try to, okay, it's Mark. We try to do a fairly large field day, and we're going to do a combination this year of what you would consider literally out in the field, even though we have the availability of using the building here again this year, which is good. We'll have 3 setups as usual. We'll have the SSB, digital, and CW. And we'll set up here at the fire station. We need lots of volunteers for setup. We need lots of volunteers that want to help other hams to show them what we're doing and how we're doing. We need a lot of volunteers to work those 3 particular setups. SSB, we run all of that for a complete 24 hours without stopping. So we need people to come and do it overnight. So he's over. But we want to have everybody do that. We want everybody to participate. We want everybody. That's a good way to practice ham radio. If you're new, it's a good way to get in there and use the equipment, work other people out there in the field, and have a lot of fun as a group. So keep that in mind. Plan to come and help. We do have, we'll have lunch and dinner on Saturday for those here. We'll also have a breakfast Sunday morning, what we call our traditional breakfast. And so everybody get ready for that. We're hoping to have a lot of fun for that. And we'll give you more information as we get closer to it.
I'm sorry.
For field day?
Yeah, it's the third weekend of June, I think. Yeah, last weekend of June. Yeah, if you want to volunteer for a particular setup, SSB, CW, digital, or all of them, let me know, or let Mark Klein know. But one of us let us know, and we'll get you set up for that. You don't have to stay there 3, 4, 5 hours. Even if you stayed, a couple and worked it, you could get a chance for those who don't normally do digital, could see how it works. Those that have been practicing their CW, want to try it, you can do that. If you just want to do SSB, we'll have a setup for that. You can do that. Okay.
All right, thank you. Mark, ARRL information.
ARRL is still out there running. There is a new report that we have a brand new training set, Aries training deal on the learn.arrl.org site. I have not looked at it. I don't know if new means we just polish the stuff that's out there, or if it's brand new from scratch. I will go look at that, and we'll have an article coming out soon about that. But that training piece has been well needed over the years. People there, raise your hand. Yeah. Oh, it's the left side of the room. Look at that. That's kind of fun. We had a great event up there. Had a good crowd, better crowd than last year. All the tables were sold. All the vendors were full. Everybody walked away. And I hate to say this, I've never heard a complaint yet out of a ham for that event last week. I never heard that before ever. There's always somebody complaining. But that one happened last week. That means we have upcoming is Dayton. Anybody going to Dayton? Hamfest? Belton was also last week. Yes, it was. And the North Texas section manager was up there for that one. Dayton's coming up in May. In July, we have the Oklahoma City Ham Holiday Hamfest. So if you're looking to buy, sell, learn, do something, meet all your friends, that's the end of July. September 14th will be the Enid Hamfest. They are moving that one to back to the fairgrounds, and it is not the same building it was. It's a new building, so they're excited. Better, faster, cheaper for them, so they're in good shape. After that is October is down south at Ardmore. We look to see that one as a good Dallas replacement, so that crowd should be good for that one. A lot of vendors coming for both of those. Cora is still doing its thing. I won't steal Galen's thunder for the marathon. I will say, sign up. See you Monday night on the marathon communications. Any questions? Elmer Night is just blowing and going. Have no idea. Every time you come in, there's 6 or 8 different projects running, and I don't know. We've had as many as 55 people in the last 30 days, and it is Tuesday night, 6:30 to 9 here in this room or on Zoom. So the Zoomerator will take care of you there. If you got a question, you got a problem, you want to ask something, this is the time to do it. It's a one-on-one deal. There is no agenda those nights. Trust me, if you've ever been there, there's no agenda. It's just bouncing off the wall. It's really good. Anything else? Questions? Nope. Bill? Oh, thank you. Hold on. Let's get a Phil report.
And if I need one. Well, one of our long-term hams, Phil Sennett, KD5 UGO, had a fall in his bathroom about 2 weeks before Christmas and been in various hospitals and care facilities since then. I visited day before yesterday up at hopefully his last stop before he goes home at Excel in Oklahoma City, South Oklahoma City. And he seems to be doing pretty fine, pretty good. He still can't stand up by himself, but he's lost a lot of weight. Most of the tubes are out of his body, except he still has a trach in. And other than that, he's in good spirits, and we'll have to call him Hippie Phil because he's hadn't had a haircut since then. So he's pretty long haired. But anyway, he was in good spirits and the best I've seen him during this ordeal.
All right, thank you.
One thing, scouting has something called the Jamboree on the Air. Who's familiar with this Jamboree on the Air thing? We've been asked by some scout leaders to assist with the Jamboree on the Air this October, planning ahead kind of situation. There is a camp at John Nichols. What it used to be called? Well, no. Yeah, it's Kickapoo for all the older folks. The people of a certain age might know it as Kickapoo. That's out actually it's by Coy Day's house if you've been out there. It's out on that piece, but there's a campsite out there. They have groups that are teaching the radio merit badge as we speak during their meetings, and then they're during Jamboree on the Air. They're planning to have 3 different radio setups, and we're going to have 3 different clubs. At this point, Scars, Auto Patch, and Edmond are the 3 that we're targeting for those. Maybe something combinations of those kind of pieces. So we have 3 different setups at these pieces. The kids are going to do a pioneering piece to raise poles, to do antenna supports for each station. And then the goal is to get them on the air with Jamboree on the Air using HF, VHF, and Echolink possibility. So if you're a scout person, come. If you want to test out your go boxes, that'd be a great mini field day. Again, this is in October. A long time away from now, but they're starting to plan now, which is really, really good. So appreciate your help come October time.
All right, and Lindell has a Kier, is that right, that you're trying to sell? Here. Okay, also ARRL Field Day is June 22nd and 23rd. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, I've got a brand new MFJ CW Kier reader plus the power supply. Online, they're like nearly $300. I'm asking $200, so 33% discount.
All right, if that's something that interests y'all, you can get. Yeah.
I'm going to step in here just for a second here. I'd like to introduce you to somebody. This is Jesse Mitchell. He is the captain, basically, of the training division down here at the fire department. This is his room. So we need to show him appreciation for him letting us use this room all the time. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you.
All right. Let's see. Our next meeting is going to be Saturday, May 11th, right here in the same room. And then also that same day in the afternoon at 4 PM will be the Scars picnic out at Denny's Ranch. And they'll have directions and everything on how to get to his place on the website. So be sure to bring a side dish or a dessert. And
It's my birthday, so it is my birthday, so large gifts would be appreciated. Cash equivalent would be awesome. Oh, Jeff, point me there.
all right. And real quick, we've had a number of hams that have passed. Some of you all also know the coax man out in Mustang. He passed. So if y'all didn't know that, yeah, he passed a couple of weeks ago. So let's have a moment of silence for the hams that we've lost and that have passed. All right. Well, we really appreciate everybody coming. Yes, Galen. Yes. Oh, the marathon.
Okay, as most of you know, the bombing memorial was yesterday, which means that the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon is next weekend. How many of you have signed up to work the ham side of it? Yeah, thank you. Briefing for that is Monday night at 7 o'clock, regardless of what information I may have put out earlier. It is 7 o'clock at the Oklahoma City Fire Training Center, 900 something North Portland. If you need directions, let me know. There are opportunities. Saturday is full. We have a full contingent of hams. Sunday, we still need people. If you are interested, registration for that is closed. If you're interested, email me your name, address, and your date of birth, like today, and I will get you signed up because we do need help on Sunday. Everybody who's worked it knows, and for those of you who haven't worked it, if you plan to use a handheld, make sure you have a really good antenna on it, not just the stock thing that comes with it, because you may be at some distance from the repeater. So again, if you have any questions, give me a call, and thank you to everybody that signed up. And like I said, we can always use more. Yes, name, address, and date of birth, because there will be a background check.
Yes.
Larry's here today. Come by and visit Larry. If you get yourself, if you want to come comfortable, do it online. He'll show you how to do it. Otherwise, if you have to take you.
All right. Yes, John.
Reference US 1 and US 1. So you want to get this up and start back page. Yeah, good John.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for showing up, especially our new visitors and everybody. Really glad everybody showed up on a rainy day. So yes, one more thing.
Radio. Yeah, isn't that thing, I don't know. On the Vern too.
Brent had.
Oh, just have a few Guanshang's radios available if people are still interested in those.
Yeah, the Quanshangs are kind of the hot ham item right now. Everybody's jumping all over those. So if y'all have an interest in one of those, he can help you out with that. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend.
I wanted to say, but I was too many microphones. I wanted to say. This much fun. But I didn't.
The appropriate too, but that's what happens. Depends on your audience.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, he told me that the firefighters